I got it. All right. Hi, my name is Charlotte and I like to ramble, and today I have an exciting video for me because for some background story or background context, a couple of months ago I did like a birthday wish list video where I talked about some of the fragrances I had obviously on my birthday wish list, and one of them was by this one brand. It was a fig fragrance that I really wanted, and my friends were trying to get it for me, but it was sold out for like quite a while now that I think about it. And I ended up getting a different fig perfume for my birthday, which I'm obsessed with that one as well. For more context, I love fig as a note. It's one of my favorite notes. And so this past weekend I was on So Avant-Garde because they had like a 30% off sale, and I was trying to buy a whole bunch of samples just to test things out, and you know, I like to experiment and try new fragrances. And I noticed that the fragrance was, not only was it available, but it was included in the 30% off sale. And so I got it. And basically, long story short, I wanted this fragrance for a really long time, and I ended up getting it for a pretty good deal. And while I was on the website, I was like, you know what, I will just get samples of the other perfumes from the brand and see how I like those. So this video will essentially be me talking about my fragrance that I finally got, but also some of the other fragrances from the brand that I think are either interesting or personally I like them. So if you are interested in a brand review of Plume Impressions, please keep on watching. Alright, I will start with the actual fragrance I got, which is Murmure. And it's just a really beautiful fig fragrance. It's very, I think this is a very good like entry-level fig perfume, because like Philosophos from Diptyque, I mean, is very beautiful, very fig forward, but it has like a lot of different elements, like it's kind of green, it's creamy, but this one is a very bright and clear fig fragrance, and it's beautiful and elegant, and it is just so, to me this is like a perfect fig scent. I'm beyond ecstatic and happy that I was able to get this, because I'm not gonna lie, for a while there I thought it was maybe not coming back to the US for a while, or it was just not really going to be available for quite a long time. And I'm so excited to like douse myself in this all for the rest of the summer, because it's stunning and beautiful. And if you try nothing else from this brand, get Murmure, because it's beautiful. I love this so much. Yeah. The next one I want to talk about is called Pop Heart. I was about to call it Pop Art, but it's Pop Heart, and this one is probably, I think, the most crowd pleasing fragrance that I smelled out of all of the samples that I got. It is very bright and fruity and mass appealing. I get a lot of pineapple, raspberry, and musk, especially because I was testing them out both on paper and skin. I feel like as it dries down you get a little bit more of the muskiness, but it's definitely like a fruity fragrance. almost young, I would say. It's not necessarily my vibe, but I can definitely see a lot of people loving this, especially if they're younger and especially during the summertime. Yeah, I think this is a good safe blind buy if you are looking for something that's fruity and very good for the summer. Yeah. All right, the next one is Onda de Oro, and this is such an interesting fragrance for me. Not one I would necessarily want to wear, but I keep coming back to smell it. It's like bright and spicy and animalic. Like, I think it's the patchouli in here that's making me like hold back from wanting to wear this. But to be honest, I feel like if I saw someone else or I met someone else wearing this, I would think that they had like an interesting backstory or personality, because I think you need a strong personality to wear this. It's quite strong and earthy, and I know a lot of people associate like patchouli with kind of hippies, and usually I don't like that connection. Well, it's not that I don't like, I dislike it, it's just I don't always make that connection. But I do feel like a very like earthy person with a very strong personality who doesn't mind like going against the grain would enjoy something like this. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's just not my taste. So I feel like other people would gravitate towards this because it definitely stood out amongst like all the samples. This next one I think is pronounced Dualité Magnifique, and this one you need to try it on skin, because something I noticed because I always do paper strips and then I test it on my skin to see like how it smells, how it starts, how it dries down, how long it lasts, that kind of thing. This one I feel really develops its personality after it dries down for like 30 minutes, at least on my skin. But to be honest, it's kind of falling into that typical oud, rose, saffron, I was about to say patchouli, that's not the word I'm looking for, amber, like that kind of cozy, rosy side of fragrances. And when you first spray it, I feel like it leans more feminine, like it's definitely leaning into those rose notes. But as it dries down, it's more like a soft oud, and it has like a warmer, more masculine dry down. It's another one I feel like I don't personally need it because I have other rose ouds that I definitely enjoy more, but I can see a lot of people gravitating towards this one as well, especially because it's a soft oud. I know a lot of people are very nervous about wearing oud. I'm not always big on oud myself, but this one is like approachable. Yeah, it's okay, but again, for me, I have things I like a little bit better, so I will personally get this one. All right, and then for my final two, I'm going to talk about the ones that I personally liked a lot, and I probably would get them if I didn't have something similar in my collection already. So I guess you could say these are the ones I would recommend if you have similar tastes to me. So let's get into it. All right, the first one is Etat de Grâce, And this one, it's a very light bubblegummy tuberose. Yeah. I would say on paper, I didn't think too much about this fragrance, but on skin, that tuberose and all of the sweetness that comes with it really came out to play, and it's so pretty. It's even smelling it directly from here, like now that I've played with it a little bit more, I can pick up those notes, but it doesn't smell the same until it's on skin. And there is like it's almost like a soapy tuberose fragrance, and you definitely have like some dewiness, some freshness, and also like some fruitiness to this. But truly, the star of the show is that tuberose, and it's like a bubblegummy tuberose, and it leans more feminine and much more into the pretty fragrance category. I like this. If I didn't already have a lot of tuberose fragrances in my collection that I really enjoy, I would get this. But it would be redundant for me, so I would recommend this, but personally I won't be getting it. Alright, and then the last one I want to talk about is Elégance Cuirée? Not really sure, but this one was my immediate favorite of all the samples that I tried, and it's because it smells like my all-time, or one of my all-time favorite fragrances, which is the iris scent from Maison Crivelli. At least in the initial spray, like that first hour, the two of them smell incredibly similar. It's slightly sweet, spicy, and leathery. And I would say if you haven't tried, or if you don't want to buy the Maison Crivelli one, because the price is, it's up there, this one would be a better cost if you get it during the sale. Like, I think with the 30% off that I did, it was somewhere like $145 versus the Maison Crivelli, you're getting into like the 200s. And so if you want that experience or something similar to that experience for a better price, I would suggest this one. I will say, on my skin, after the first hour, because I actually ended up comparing them as they dried down, after about an hour, they do settle into slightly different experiences. I would say the Maison Crivelli one stays very spicy, leathery, but slightly softer on my skin, and it's very cozy and enveloping, and I just love that fragrance so much. But this one, after the first hour, I feel like it does go slightly more masculine, in the sense that it's a little bit more smoky, and it has almost, I don't want to say like a rubbery smell, but it has that slight like car tire smell in the background. And so the dry downs are slightly different, but this cost would probably be more appealing than the Maison Crivelli one. For me personally, I still prefer the Maison Crivelli fragrance, especially on my skin. I feel like it's so beautiful and long lasting. Both of them are long lasting, but I feel like the Maison Crivelli one is a little bit more powerful, a little bit more like you're gonna get a longer shelf life, for also like a bigger projection. but overall they're close. They're really, really close. So if you're interested in that scent profile, I would recommend this one, especially if you can get it at a discount. All right, that is my quick review of the Plume Impression samples, at least the ones that I thought were interesting enough to talk about. I guess if you were curious, like you just want a very quick what would I recommend, obviously Bermuda, because that's the one that I got, and then I would say Etat de Grâce, and then the last one, I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head, sorry, but yeah, those are the ones that I would suggest at least get a sample of so you can try them. Honestly, I don't know necessarily if you need to get all of the samples, because some of the other ones were quite sharp, a little bit harsh to the nose, but if you are in a place where you can go see them in person, smell them in person, I would recommend the brand because it was fun. It was quite nice. It was a fun experience. So if you have made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Happy smelling fragrances.